Greetings, soul family. It's the Divine Pioneer. Welcome back to my channel. So, today I just wanted to explore an idea that I have been playing around with in my subconscious. And I wondered, how this will go over well in the spiritual community. So, I'm going to tell you about what it's like to have a spiritual awakening and then right afterwards have a dark night of the soul. So once you have your spiritual awakening, it could be from a multitude of things. It could be knowledge, esoteric knowledge that you've discovered that, opens your mind wide open. And it could be scary at first because it's like, I have to question everything. Like everything that I was taught as a child, everything that I was taught in church or, in my culture is like basically has led me astray, and I have been confused for my whole life. Now I'm understanding that in order to find God, I have to go within. That God is not somewhere up in the sky, getting angry if I'm not fearful enough of Him, and, judging me by every little thing that I do, and there is no heaven and hell that I'm going to go to. All these different things start to melt away, and with it, it's almost like your identity has melted away with it, especially if you have been heavily indoctrinated into, a specific religion or belief system. Now, once you are, fully open, it's like your heart chakra just opens wide, and it's now like you look at everybody as an extension of yourself, which is also an extension of God in you and a manifestation of God, right? So now you're just like, okay, what do I do next? I did have some, I'll find it later. At any rate, I did have some notes, but I don't know where I put them at, but we'll figure it out. But the fact of the matter is, this is huge when you're discovering the God in you, and you're melting away all of, that heavy, strict religion. In the dark night of the soul stage, you're going to feel alone because nobody that was once with you is going to stay with you. They're going to now deem you, what do they call us? Conspiracy theorists, conspiracy theorists, whatever. They're going to call you crazy. They're going to be like, oh, you're a Satanist, a devil worshiper. You're doing dark magic. Like, for example, these things here, in my sacred space would scare the shit out of somebody that is like unaware. They would say the sage burning right now, is dark magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, what I can tell you is I am coming up with a new concept because I don't really hear this spoken of too much in our spiritual community. Because most of the time, we're just like, listen, if you're not elevated in your consciousness enough and your vibration is still low, we got to leave you where you at. You know what I'm saying? And keep it pushing. But the more I absorb that and meditate on that, and I feel something is missing, because it's almost like in order for us to raise the collective consciousness and for us all to ascend, from this 3D, 4D into the 5D, even 6th dimension, in order for us to really break the cycle of reincarnation and get off the karmic wheel, you know what I mean? We all have to kind of do this collectively, or at least a majority of us have to be on the same page. And so I'm like, okay, my spirit tells me that I incarnated here basically to help others ascend. I don't know what reason I would put myself on a microscope like this and leave myself vulnerable to, being attacked by the public for my opinions. The only reason I would do this is because I have a higher calling that, started in past incarnations, and I'm just continuing in order to help raise the collective vibration and the frequency and to open up the minds of people still stuck. So, in doing that and in contemplating this, I realized that I want to try a soft approach to opening a line of questioning. I just want to simply, softly allow people to question something. Ask a question about what you heavily believe in. And use your mind. Okay? In the law of in the hermetic principles, all is mind, right? Use these cosmic laws to ask a question that makes sense. Does it make sense that there are so many cultures, so many different religions that have the same story, the Christ story about, you know, Jesus healing people and walking on water and, feeding, the hungry with 2 fish, turning water into wine, and the 12 disciples, the Virgin Mary birth. You know what I'm saying? Like, look into the historical background of these events, and you will find so many cultures have duplicated the same story. However, Christianity is only the latest duplication, plagiarization of the story. Okay? If you go back, I'm talking like 3,000 years BC, before Christ, you will find, Horus, Isis and Osiris, those stories were before Christianity and before the Bible, right? And so many in between. I'm gonna do I'm gonna put together a course, actually. I've been contemplating it for months now, and I've even been having dreams about it. And whenever I start thinking of something and not acting, then my subconscious starts hammering me down in my dreams, and it's like, okay, now I got to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do a course about this. But the whole point of this video is to softly ask your loved ones during your spiritual awakening, softly ask them questions that is not going to trigger them. And you can't ask every member of your family or your friend group these certain questions, because it can trigger them, dangerously trigger them. Some people can get so triggered that they have health problems, that they live in a state of confusion, because now you're like shattering their very identity and existence of what they've been taught their whole lives. So you have to carefully choose, who you want to bring with you, who, each one teach one. So which one do you think can handle the esoteric knowledge, the historic knowledge, the spiritual knowledge of the truth that God is within you? Very simple truth. Okay? And I want to formulate questions that, are not difficult to understand. And mix in a little historical facts. You know what I'm saying? For example, if you were born in 1984, right? And your mother was born in 1966. Is that not a historical birth certificate in existence to say when you came into the existence and when this person came into the existence? Is that not a fact? Right? So if you led a life of, you became a nurse and you retired at this age and you had this many kids, and ironically it mirrors what your mom did. Your mom also had that exact amount of kids and became a nurse. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, who did it first? Did you do it in 84 or did your mom do it in 66? You know what I'm saying? Like, simple basic facts. I want to put them together in a easily digestible way that will not trigger people, that will just get them to ask a simple question. Because the facts are, once you know something, you can't unknow it. Even if you try not to acknowledge it, you're going to start to see more things in your reality because your consciousness has now been shown the truth. Okay? That's number one. Number two, if you can question something, that means you can question everything. And when you begin to question everything, nothing is off limits. Your spirit is going to begin to bring things into your reality to help you further go down deep and dive deep to get the answers that you seek, because what's seeking you, or what you're seeking, is seeking you. You understand? As above, so below. And things are going to start to align for you. And that's going to further spur you naturally into your own spiritual awakening at your own pace. And those things that you question are going to be the things that are the hardest for you personally to understand. For me, one of the hardest things for me to understand was dying for the sins of everybody in the world. You know? And, that didn't resonate with me. After the Great Flood, what didn't resonate with me was one of all the animals in the ark. And, why did God come to you specifically out of all the people and give you this cross to bear? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Everybody has different things that hang them up that they just, brush under the table respectfully, and they stay in alignment with the religion. They stay in alignment with the scripture and stay in alignment with, what they was taught in Bible study and, what the pastor said. You know what I'm saying? So we all have this human nature to connect. And even me, I try very hard to deny that aspect of me, in a sense, because I don't want to absorb other people's energy. I'm a Cancer rising and a Cancer moon. So you can imagine I fully absorb energy in every space that I'm in. And doing that, I take on a lot, which is why I constantly have to go inward and rejuvenate my energy and be alone a lot. I have 2 autistic children. I'm married. I have a lot going on. So when I do get this time when my children are in school, I have to utilize that time to regroup my energy to, charge back up and raise my frequency. But the point I'm trying to make is a lot of us want to connect to others. It's difficult for me because not only do I connect, I become your counselor, I become your teacher, your advisor, your bestie, your mother, you know what I'm saying? Your big sis. I do all of that when I fully, accept somebody into my energy field. And that's exhausting me. It drains the shit out of me. Okay. But we have this innate urge and desire to help others and to be accessible to people, right? And be with people too. The reason why we have to collectively each one teach one and wake somebody up. If you woke up in the matrix and you unplugged yourself, the person next to you, whoever's next to you, you need to try to unplug them. But you got to gently do it. You know what I'm saying? And I want to cultivate a way that we can do this. And I don't know how. I just know Spirit woke me up with a dream about, a flock of sheeps all dressed in white. And then this one black sheep sitting out in the green pastures, sun gazing and connecting and grounding in the earth, while a whole flock of sheeps are in some form of a temple, looking at a false prophet to tell them how to be in life. And that stuck with me all morning. That dream really shook me, because it's like, yo, that black sheep is lonely. That black sheep is looking over at all other sheeps that they used to be with. We used to be together. We used to be for each other. But now that I've discovered some knowledge that you are rejecting, I'm casted out. And I don't want that to be our reality anymore. I want to do my part to change the collective awareness. And the only thing I'm trying to do is get you to ask a question. Ask yourself a simple question. Does this make sense? Here's the facts laid before me. Am I still going to choose to believe in something that's clearly false? That's clearly not accurate? That's not real? So, I'm going to be in my bag, coming up with different ways to wake up the collective. And I just wanted to share this concept with you guys. If you can jump in the comments and tell me what you think. Any ideas are welcome as well, because it's hard to wake people up who have, been heavily indoctrinated into religion, and, they just believe that wholeheartedly that Jesus is going to come back and save us. I'm sorry, respectfully. But we need to do our part. Those of us who know the truth, those of us who realize that the only way out is within. The only way out is within. And the sheeps of the world need to be awakened. And we just need the sheeps to ask themselves a question, and to question everything. And if the sheeps can begin to question everything, then reality will slowly begin to reveal itself to them. And they will now raise their frequency and their consciousness, and we will all ascend together. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. The universe conspires on your behalf to give you all things you need and want. And all good things come to you in divine order and divine timing. Love and light. Peace. Okay, so I wanted to do a quick reading. Honestly, something just told me, the synchronicity of this. There's a message here that Spirit wants to add to my video. So I'm going to do this quick reading. And today I'm going to be utilizing, if you can see here, the Archangel Power Tarot cards. I'm just going to do a quick 3-card reading. Um, Eventually, I'll be doing full spreads once my setup changes, but I don't got a lot of space that I'm working with right now, folks. At any rate. Okay, so. Spirit, what messages do we have for the collective that can go hand in hand with my video on the only way out is within? Oh, we got something here. Okay. 6 of Ariel. It's a beautiful card. And it is material needs get fulfilled in magical and unexpected ways. Acts of kindness, giving or receiving with a grateful heart. And there is a beautiful angelic being in front of a beautiful tree. All right, what else do we have? Nine of Raphael. Make a wish. Dreams become reality. A joyful time of life. Look at that. And it's almost like reminds me of the genie. See that? Yeah. And what is our third message from Spirit? Here we go. Page of Raphael. Gentle, loving, dreamy, open-hearted. A new emotional situation. Messages regarding relationships or social invitations. Great intuitive insights. Okay. Now, intuitively, bringing this together. 6 of Ariel, 9 of Raphael, Page of Raphael. You know, we really are divine beings of love and light. And we have the ability to help each other. And in reality, simple acts of kindness, simple ways of being, and not being overly harsh with other people, and not being overly judgmental of other people, you can really open up somebody's heart. Because in order to activate a spiritual awakening, it has to start in the heart first. You know what I'm saying? And even though it's definitely emotional to have a spiritual awakening, to be casted out after having that amazing insight come to you and cast it out as a black sheep, it's very emotional. And in the spirit of love, right? We want to share love and share kindness and bring that into our reality. So in order to do that, why not just listen to everybody, you know, and in a space of gratitude for whatever you have to offer to the collective. You are a person just like I'm a person, and neither one of us is better than the other. So why not listen and absorb and take what resonates, right? And in doing so, we open up our hearts. And that is how we can achieve collective consciousness and raising the frequency and raising us from the 3D, 4D lower dimensions to the higher realms, the 5D, the 6D. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to be honest, you know, being gentle with somebody and loving gives you the ability to fight through, you know, all the mucky waters of, you know, the politics and the religion and all the things that, you know, we add to us but doesn't make us whole. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to add this reading to the video because it just came over my heart that it would help somebody. So with that being said, You folks have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.